Teaching, learning, research form the basic component of every university, and that is why the AU Television, in partnership with PASGA, we have been bringing you pedagogical leadership in Africa and basically transforming teaching and learning in African universities. The whole journey began here in Ibadan. We moved to Mombasa, Kenya. We came to Ghana, Accra for the Western Hub training, and we were talking about pedagogical leadership. We are back in Ibadan, and like Professor Pai Obanya says, a good conversation is the one that never ends. As we have been transforming teaching and learning, research plays a very key role in universities. And so we are here back in Ibadan, and we are going to have a 14-day training that will basically target research methodology and how can we improve research methods in African universities. Briefly, we haven't the official opening, but we have Dr. Pauline Gimwa, and she is from PASGA and also leading the facilitators here. We'll have a short conversation with her. I will take you into the room where our facilitators are still having a small tete-a-tete and then also comparing their notes. This is AU Television. Keep watching. Just in whatever. Dr. Pauline, welcome to AU Television. It's really amazing to connect with you once again from Ibadan when we met some 5 months ago. And after 5 months, we are back here in Ibadan. But this time around, we are not only talking about PEDAL, that is the pedagogical leadership, we are looking at research component. PASGA keeps surprising us. What do you have for us this time around?
We are back here as PASGA this time round. We are representing a program called Professional Development and Training. This targets early to mid-career researchers. We realize that they need to sharpen their research methods, skills. So we are here targeting mid to early career researchers. They will be with us for the next 14 days. So we start today with the official opening. Then what we expect is the next 14 days, we will take them through the philosophical and practical techniques on how they can design their research projects better. Then after that, we will take a 1-day break and go for another 4 days, and we'll be focusing on how they carry out the methods, the research methods. So we have 2 of them. We have a module we call Engendering Social Science Research Methods, and then we have another one called Impact Evaluation. So we will ask them to choose between the 2, and the 2 modules will run concurrently. In total, we expect them to cover 14 days of training.
So how many researchers are you targeting? Are they only in universities, or for example, it is open to other research institutions to participate?
This is what we call the open call. We send out a call for participation, and we invite any researcher who is interested from the entire continent. So even though the focus this time round is on the West African region, we have surprisingly found that it has attracted participation from different parts of the continent. We have a good number of people coming from East Africa and Zimbabwe and South Africa. And from this region, we have people coming from Benin. Majority, of course, come from Nigeria. And also we have identified that a good number are from Ibadan. In total, we expect to have 50 participants. Like I have said, it's a good mix, covering different parts of the continent. Yes.
Thank you so much. We know that right after the official opening, there will be a clear way as to how the trainings will be going. We'll be covering each and every bit of it and then showcase everything with our viewers as well. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you very much.
Great. So we just spoke with Dr. Pauline Gimwa, and she is from PASGA and then the team lead for this training here in Ibadan.
It is my delight to welcome each and every one of us. First, for those who have visited us to the University of Ibadan, to the Premier University in Nigeria, first and the best in Nigeria. And for members of the university, it is my pleasure to welcome us to this event. It is quite encouraging to know that the partnership between the University of Ibadan and PASGA is growing from strength to strength. I know that in the last 1 year or so, we've had a series of programs on the platform of that partnership, and I know that it will certainly get better and better. And I think it's important that I call our attention to the fact that these training workshop on advanced training for multi-method and policy-oriented research is very much consistent with one of the core objectives of PASGA, as well as one of the core objectives of the University of Ibadan, which is to develop our capacity for cutting-edge research across all fields. Even though I know that PASGA has a special interest in research in the area of public policy, and I would want to congratulate all our postgraduate students, as well as the early career researchers present today and who will be taking part in this training workshop. That it's a very good opportunity for us to take optimal advantage of. And I think it shouldn't be out of place for me to tell you that, in a sense, I have this sense of envy that you have this privilege that some of us did not have when we were postgraduate students and early career researchers. Because I don't think it should be proper for me to call myself an early career researcher now. But I could tell you that for many of my generation, we actually literally pass through the jungle with our heads. For those of you who understand Yoruba, you can try to interpret that. Professor Ojebode, I can see you over there. Maybe you will help us. Could you interpret that into Yoruba? If you pass through the jungle with your head. Aha. Yes. That was what many of us did, you know. We were more or less on our own with very little guidance. We didn't have such programs as these. We didn't have the privilege of having such opportunities to be actually trained in research methodologies. We didn't have the privilege of having formal workshops like these to attend. Of course, then We had supervisors at the postgraduate level who did their best to mentor us, but we never had this kind of opportunity. And that says something to me that if we could have made the kind of progress we made in our respective fields, in spite of our limitations, in spite of the opportunities we did not have then those of you who have the privilege of participating or benefiting from such programs, you have the opportunity to excel in your various fields.
Professor Adebola Ekola, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics, representatives from the Postgraduate College, members of the faculty present, students, postgraduate students, and all protocols observed. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes, Dr. BC, wherever he goes, he causes trouble. And when he came to Nairobi, I can tell you it was one of the most lively institutes we have offered so far. So, and I have the pleasure of having you MC this occasion. And we are quite delighted. Thank you very much. My name is Pauline Gimwa. I manage the Professional Development and Training Program. It is my pleasure to be here. I consider Nigeria my second home. And when I come to University of Ibadan, I feel very much at home. I bring you greetings from our Executive Director, Professor Tade Aina. You'd have wanted to be here. He doesn't miss these occasions. He's very excited about the sort of work we do with researchers. However, he was unable to be present today. He sent his best wishes to those of us who are going through the training workshop. We are pleased to collaborate with the university. We consider University of Ibadan as a valued partner. We were here about 5 months ago when we had a similar program on pedagogical skills, a program, one of our latest and transformative program that is focused around pedagogy. And we were very happy to be hosted by University of Ibadan and to see the level of enthusiasm in wanting to participate in PASCA's activity. So we are pleased to be able to collaborate with the university once more under the chairmanship of the Vice Chancellor in delivering our very first regional training. Since we started PASCA, we have offered this training in Nairobi. But it came to a stage where we felt that we needed to go out to the region and be closer to our regional participants, because in the past they've had to travel all the way to Nairobi. So we made a decision that a time has come when we go around to the region and make it easier for our participants to participate. So this is our very first attempt to do that, and we are quite excited that we are doing it here in University of Ibadan. So on behalf of PASCA, I want to extend appreciation to the Vice Chancellor and his leadership, and including the Provost of Postgraduate College and his team for accepting to collaborate with us in this maiden delivery, regional delivery. I now want to take a few minutes to introduce PASCA. I know some of you are hearing PASCA for the first time, and what we do in the methods training. Um, I have some slides. I will be very brief with them, but this is our way of getting you to understand who we are and what we do. So we are the Partnership for African Social and Governance Research. We were established in 2011, and we came out of the famous Tony Blair report, the Commission for Africa report, and it highlighted the crisis, the higher education crisis. And part of that covered the declining academic status, particularly in our social science institutions, and the inability or limited engagement in domestic policy formation. And we came up with a vision of a vibrant African social science community addressing continent's public policy issues. And our mission is to advance excellence, research excellence in governance and public policy in Africa. So whatever we do is around enhancing or bringing up the standards of how we as researchers do research that informs policy on the continent. We seek excellence, relevance, transformation, and impact. And very shortly, you'll be hearing about what has happened to the people who have gone through the training, because we want excellence and we want to create transformation and impact. We are all over Africa, as you can see. That is our footprint. We have about 28 countries so far, and we have plans to extend to the Maghreb and also to the Central Africa.
Yeah, thank you, BC. Five minutes I have. In November 2018, I decided to undertake the training on advanced research method of the Partnership for African Social and Governance Research. I was aware of the training previously, but I was hesitating to participate because I've been teaching research methods for almost 2 decades in the Department of Political Science. And I've also been a resource person with the Codestra Method Institute. In fact, I was teaching some aspects of qualitative research in their Methods Institute as far back as 2007 and 2008. And I used to teach the debates around this, the philosophy of science, and also grounded theory in their Methods Institute. So I thought that there was really nothing significant that I was going to learn from the Institute. Then they announced that there's a course on network analysis. And I said, yeah, that looks like something new that I need to learn. And while I was thinking about it, my good friend here, Fatai Aremu, professor of political science from the University of Ilorin, told me that he has been part of the institute, that he has in fact gone through the training. And I said, really? Do you really think that there's something I can pick from that institute? And he said, look, you come first. So that's how the journey to the institute began. And as it turned out, I realized that one of the best things that will happen to a scholar is to become what is actually truly is. a student sitting in a classroom, not standing and teaching, but listening and doing assignments. And it's particularly very interesting when you have not just your colleagues, but in fact younger academics, like Wale on the Department of Communication and Language Arts, being my teacher and seeing that truly there's something fantastic that can come out of the Institute. I will emphasize 2 points. The first is that the Institute will not teach you the regular things that we teach in research methods in our various departments. This is simply because of the nature of our curriculum, not because they are not relevant, but because we can't really sit down to address some of these issues in a sustained, systematic manner like the Institute does. So whether you have multiple courses in methodology, I can guarantee you that if you attend the Institute, there will still be a lot of new things that you are going to learn. The second important point is that because of the size of our classes and the semester structure that we have so many things happening simultaneously. So the kind of practice that you require in order to get really grounded with the nitty-gritty of research, the practice that is required to buttress the discussions that we normally will have in a regular semester course is usually not possible. Now, if you come to the Institute, you are not just going to go through the regular teaching process. There will be a lot of hands-on practice, practical engagement with tests that makes a lot of difference. But even more significant is that you don't come to the Institute without a concept note. In other words, you come with some funny and fuzzy ideas or concept about the research that you are going to do, but by the time you finish, you would have been taken through a process of reworking the entire concept into something that constitutes a research design, taking you from the problem statement to the objectives, the research questions, to the methods, data collection, data analysis, and then, of course, drawing conclusion or testing hypothesis. And I think by the time you finish, you have a concept note or a proposal that you can beat your breast and say you have a proposal. Thank you very much.
I came about this PASGA when I was in Israel, together with a professor friend who said there's need for you to attend this program. Then when I came back 2015, I applied. The first thing I saw on my screen was, sorry, we have a lot of people who have applied and we cannot take you now. I said, you must take me. Someone said I should do it. So 2016, I applied again and I was lucky. I looked at the money involved. It was a huge amount. Then I called my friend. I said, how am I going to go about this? I said, you have to do it. So I ran around and I was able to attend the course. Prior to that time, I remember that Professor Ojebode, every morning, he will send an assignment that I have to do. My own background is quite different from the political science area. I said, am I not putting myself in a serious box? I'm an agriculturist, for God's sake. So what do I want to do with these stories that I have to review all the time? Well, I tried. I have my office work to cater for, and when I wake up in the morning again, I will see another assignment again to do. Well, I tried and managed myself to solve those assignments. And we got there. Having gotten there, I was thinking that it would be a walkover issue. Below, it was a destructive approach. All the knowledge I took, all my research knowledge I took there, they dismantled it, trying to reconstruct it again, giving me assignment to go and do. I said, what kind of course is this? Well, there was a program in Ibadan at that period, a COCO program, international program. So I was to present a paper, but I'm in Kenya. So I now called BC. I said, look at this. We have to do this one together. All this PASGA issue, I have to put it inside this program. Below, I reconstructed the paper again, sent to Ibadan for a senior colleague to go and present. He said, when he presented this paper, people were clapping hands. One important thing PASGA has done in my life is that I have a very broad approach to knowledge. Though I'm from the adaptive research angle and agriculturist, each time I see people presenting paper, I feel annoyed because of my exposure. When people come and say, this is my topic, I say, how can this be your topic? It can't be your topic. What do you want to achieve from this topic? And I would like to tell you that someone came from one university. He said he presented his PhD proposal and it was rejected. Can you help me? I said, let me see it. Religious ethics. I said, okay, can you give me 3 days? I will work on it and give it to you. An agriculturist working on religious ethics. What are you going to do? I worked on it. He presented that paper proposal and it was accepted immediately. Because I need to put all those nitty-gritties, all those little things. I was drawing the typology. I was drawing the typology. He said, how am I going to explain? I said, don't worry. Just follow this arrow and explain to them. He said it was accepted immediately. So, the way I see things is quite different from people who have not gone to PASGA. And that is why I always encourage people to go to PASGA.
The Vice Chancellor, University of Ibadan, Professor Abel Idowu Olayinka, ably represented by the Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Professor Ekonla. We want to sincerely thank you for hosting us, for accepting us, and giving us the permission to hold the training. We thank you very much, Vice Chancellor. The former Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic and now Head of Department Sociology, Professor Adenito, we thank you sincerely. I know we've met a couple of times in Nairobi, and you've been a very excellent brother and mentor. Thank you very much, sir. We thank all the members of the High Table, and we want to thank those that I will call the PDT veterans who are here present. PDT is Professional Development and Training. We have the veterans here. Among them, I will mention Professor Ayobami Ojebode, who actually trained me sometimes around 2014. Susan Kilonzo is another veteran. Ernest Oishi from University of Nigeria. And others who are here, most especially Professor Remi Ayede, my friend and brother. I thank these people because they were the front runners in this revolution in research, policy engaged research in Africa. They were the first to be trained, and they have taken it upon themselves to train others. I've had the privilege of working with them. They hardly sleep. They read, they look for material, they make sure that they work hard to deliver exceptional learning moments. Thank you very much. Then to the growing PASGA alumni network across Africa. We have had their testimonies. We thank you very much, because if you had taken the training and you fail to apply it, or you don't appreciate the knowledge and the skill, or you just dump them somewhere, what are we going to do? You found the knowledge, the skill, the tools that you acquired very useful, and you have been passionately applying them. We are very proud of you. Thank you very much. And then to PASGA, Partnership for African Social and Governance Research. This organization is a unique organization that is championing and driving a silent revolution across Africa. They are driving innovation in research, teaching, and learning across the continent. It is difficult to imagine what the evidence landscape, the learning landscape in Africa would be without PASGA. We thank PASGA. We thank Professor Tade Aina for driving this organization. We thank Dr. Pauline Ingimwa, Dr. Beatrice Muganda in Yambura, and the fabulous team in PASGA, Nairobi. PASGA staff work extremely hard to make sure that Africa become a continent that we are all proud of. We thank you very much. I know for sure that the day will come that you will be highly honored by Africa. You have done so much for Africa, and you deserve to be honored. We thank you. So, the journey to the transformation of Africa has just begun, and we are taking another step from today. All of us that are here are part of this historic transformation. We have our role to play so that Africa will continue to rise, and we can get a continent we are all proud of. Thank you very much. May Africa become great again. Thank you.
The official opening is over, and this is the advanced training for multi-method and policy-oriented research brought to you by PASGA. We have few participants here. We have some people who gave the keynote addresses, and we will be looking forward to interviewing them, finding out a few things about them and what they expect throughout the 14 days that we will be spending here at Ibadan. This is proudly brought to you by the Association of African University Television. My name is Chrissy Sam. Keep watching.
My name is Oluwafumisho Adeola Olajide. I work with the Department of Agricultural Economics, University of Ibadan.
Great. And so I think I interviewed you 5 months ago, and that was under pedagogical leadership. Yeah. But today it's under the multi-method and policy-based research. Now, having gone through such training in the past and listening to how PASGA has transformed till now, what will you share briefly with the participants who are going into the next cohort?
It's a life-transforming experience. It's mind-blowing, and I'll encourage everyone to be open and to participate fully. Be involved. Don't be distracted. You will get the best from it.
So great. If you are to join this cohort, what are the new things you would want to learn?
Well, there are some courses that I haven't been a part of. For example, the social analysis network, the case studies approach, ethnography, and I think there's one coming up that is called scholarly writing. However, I'm happy to say that I'll be part of the Engendering Social Science Research Group this time around.
So we are privileged to host or have one of our former trainees of this beautiful workshop, and she is an astute academic here at the University of Ibadan. We want to find out from her what her experiences were and how this training has been beneficial to her in her line of work as a researcher. You're welcome to AU Television, madam.
Thank you very much. Good evening.
So you would tell us your name, your university, of course, and then the department that you come from.
Okay. I'm Dr. Shionbola Omitoyin from the Department of Aquaculture and Fisheries Management, University of Ibadan. My area of specialization is policy, administration and gender in fisheries and aquaculture. I was privileged to partake in this training program in Kenya in 2017. I was in 2007. I was in cohort 17, and it was a 14 days of intensive training. And I want to say that my life in terms of research and even perspective to life generally had not been the same since I took part in this training. You have the ARD session, and then you have the CCA session, and all this culminated into changing my focus and my perspective about research. My research now is not only for paper writing, but it's for research for development, research to make impact in people's life. And so to start off with my research from now, I meet with the stakeholders to identify what the problems are, and there's a lot of deep critical thinking and imagination to bring out the research question that will meet the need of the people and solve their problem. We were taught a number of processes to go through when we are about generating ideas, questions, research questions, and even hypotheses and things like that. And even the questions to ask, we were taking through all these things: typology and things like that, content analysis, all those things we're taking through. And then the different types of instruments or tools that you can use. Before, it had only been maybe quantitative alone or qualitative alone. Now is a mixed method research to be able to do both the social science aspect of it and then put a bit of quantitative things into it, and that has really changed my focus.
So sir, we are privileged to host you and then have some few thoughts with you as well. Great. I loved your presentation in terms of your testimony that you shared after your training with PASGA. Now, we are about having the next 14 days session. What message do you have for new entrants?
The main message I have for new entrants is that they should make their mind open. Forget about what they already know. Because there's going to be a destructive action that is going to mix everything and bring in build in new methods of research that will be able to embrace all discipline. By the time they come out, they will be refined and be able to speak on anything, right? It won't be on their discipline. Like I told you, I'm an agricultural extensionist and a rural sociologist, so my background is quite different from art. But I have handled issues on traditional medicine, issues on religious ethics, and have packaged it in such a way that it was accepted immediately. So all they need to do is that they should be ready to read, because when we went there in 2016, they took all of our time. We were spent because immediately you leave the class, you'll be given assignments to do for the following morning. When you come back the following morning, that assignment the books that you need to have read overnight will be the first thing to be treated. So you don't have time, and it increases your level of thinking. So they should just be prepared, and I'm very, very sure that they will never remain the same again.
Thank you so much for speaking to us and encouraging the new entrants as well. Great.